Liebe Leute, es kann so schön sein. Hello, everybody. Surprise! It's the three of us. And our guest, well, due to weather conditions we have in good old Germany, in Bavaria to be more precise, they have snow. And if you try to make your way precise, focused, but get by anything like ice or even too much snow for your all-wheel drive car with winter tires and being a very experienced driver, and suddenly you leave the street and find a nice and cozy part of the street a bit deeper down to the right or the left, then is the time where you know that agriculture business has its fortune or a towing service. Our guest, unfortunately, hope he is well and hasn't hurt too much car and his ego, or is even in distress. Hopefully not. Unfortunately, that is the reason why he's not yet here.
Hopefully there are no more bruises than his ego, yeah.
That is what we all hope, and we all hope that as he is a very highly convinced, sustainable, focused chap, after I know him for over 25 years now, and he's always very focused on digital technology. He has implemented computers into his cars at a time when this absolutely was unspoken or more or less crazy. At that time, he had a car from Ingolstadt, the premium one, and he then switched to his most favorite car. He became a Tesla fan. And now the whole family is having the fantastic Tesla roofing, which you only get in the US. He imported this by himself, found a smart chap who installed it on his roof. He has wind energy in some of his ground because his growing girls still have horses, and the luck of women is on the back of horses, I have been told. So,
Is it?
well,
there I thought that a girl's best friend is a diamond.
the next step after having horses, one should have a development, yeah, aside of an electric car or electrical driven car. So the family owns a Y, a 3, an S, and they ordered also, as I've been told in the preparation call, they are moving forward to pick up a Zoe as well. What we had planned today is that we invited Achim to talk about his experience on his business he has developed in the last 25 years on several products. He was one of the early innovators who thought that why people normally love to use Outlook, CRM base on Outlook base is a cool idea. And there was one company in South Africa who had such a product. And at that time, we started to move forward and convince people to join in. As I saw your last post, Tom, on Nimble, on John Ferrara's product, which is quite strongly liaised to the Outlook scenario and base. What are you thinking about that general approach, and Marshall, yours as well, to link usability, such as I start my day with Outlook, I end my day with Outlook, so why shouldn't my customer data be in my Outlook?
Hell no.
That was a short one. That is Prussian precision. Now back to the United States. I hope there is more than one sentence.
No, Outlook is a client, so it's a part. It's an engagement solution and not a customer data platform. Period. So now you, Marshall. Sorry.
It's true. I absolutely agree. And I might not be the best person to ask because I have a long-standing prejudice against Outlook. I never liked it. I never enjoyed working with it. And as soon as I had the option to use a different client, Gmail, for example, I took it and never looked back. That said, I'm not a salesperson. And I understand the desire to have everything in one place. One of the first CRM adjacent vendors I ever spoke to, I can't remember the name of his product, but he was basically putting the CRM in Outlook. And I wish I could remember his name because so many others have done it since then. Yeah, it works. It doesn't work for me, but as Thomas says, it's a client. It's not a data platform. And too many things get lost or confused between there. If you have something in Outlook that you need elsewhere, you're going to need another tool anyway. So I hate Outlook. We started with me hating Outlook. We'll end with me hating Outlook.
That's an interesting perspective. To be a bit more precise,
please do.
The Microsoft Business Contact Manager was a product I honestly felt in love with because it sorted the challenge that you needed a separate database, which was at that time the smaller light version of Microsoft SQL, access-based, pimped access. And that system was in 3 versions available till the version 3.0 till Outlook 2013. Yeah. And that was quite a nice tool to get people used to the Microsoft way on, at that time, Dynamics, to make them use their Outlook in a more customer-focused way. That was helpful. And on the other end, at that time, honestly speaking, the Microsoft Dynamics CRM was not as brilliant as it is today. And so the starting point product was always, as we say in Germany, a hingucker, a place to look at, such as, oh, wow, that's not bad. That makes my life easier. And for a lot of solopreneurs, it was a good starting point. Saying that, when they stopped the service, this was one of the hooks. John Ferrara, with its Nimble, had a magnificent deal, such as Microsoft said, goodbye, folks. There is no longer the business contact manager, but we have a lovely opportunity. It's called Nimble, and it works nicely.
Well, that is good for Microsoft, but the state of the industry in 2013 is not the state of the industry today. We have been moving steadily into a situation where you don't have to stick with everything Microsoft. Who uses all Microsoft products? Certainly, you don't find a whole lot of people using Dynamics, which is a shame because Dynamics is a good product set. But, it makes sense, as you say, for the solopreneur, for the smaller business, to find an all-in-one solution, and you can get that with Microsoft. But for anybody else, it's so easy to customize, to take the data from application A and integrate it to application B and make a workflow to application C. Why bother with just the one?
There
Probably
are
because of platform reasons or platforming reasons. What's the benefit of best of breed versus best of platform?
Interesting question.
And here we got some advertisement.
Oh,
Good question.
Natalie.
what a lovely surprise! You are with us.
Hello, Natalie Zoll.
We
Yeah.
love Zoho. You know this, and we would love to have you as a guest. And
I'm
this
sure
is
we will
now
at some point.
the proactive approach, such as come in and find out. If you would like to jump in spontaneously, be our guest. We can send you a link. Just say yes.
And there is still hope, I assume, that we can get Achim via mobile once they've towed him out of the forest and he's done eating his pretzels and beer.
That's a bad one. I guess he was very focused on the slippery road. But,
Right, but now he needs to calm down with Pretzel und Bier.
So, but back to the original question. So, Outlook, Gmail, Thunder, Mail, or how all these mailers are named. So, what they are front-end solutions. They are solutions that help, if connected to a CRM system, to gauge and evaluate a relationship. And this is basically what it is all about. So in my point of view, they need to be connected to a CRM system or to a CX system, however they are called right now, and give information, relevant information to the CDP and beyond that's underneath it. So from my point of view, the CRM system must be there where the user is, regardless whether they hate Outlook or Gmail. I heard of people who hate Gmail, by the way, as a client. Regardless where they are and what they use, the system needs to be there transparently. And I think this is the major secret sauce there. And systems like, well, Dynamics are pretty well in that. Zoho as well, by the way. And, well, at least for Gmail. Didn't try that with Outlook so far. So this is a step into the right direction to be able to bring the relationship back into the CRM system. And this is probably something that's really missing. I just got hinted to an article by Rich Bohn, basically. It's time to make relationships the center of CRM. They weren't. So far, the center of a CRM was basically the management reporting.
Yeah,
mostly.
always has been, no matter what we say.
So, and as long as we don't get that back, we don't get proper data, then we can even forget about whatever is a CDP. Then we can forget about customer relationship management, partner relationship management, vendor relationship management, even as simple as engagement, which is actually simpler than a relationship. So from my point of view, whether we like it or hate it, the system needs to be there. There's always someone who likes it. And by the way, I'm not the best friend of Outlook as well.
Yeah.
It's causing too much. And
Yeah,
I'm also not the best friend of Gmail, by the way.
Yeah, I should probably say that Outlook and Microsoft products are in a similar boat with me to Salesforce, in that I acknowledge that they are very, very good products, but they are also so well established in their niche that I can say horrible things about them, and I know it's not going to hurt them any.
Yeah.
I would love to have somebody from Dynamics come and talk to us on camera or otherwise, and just for fun. I'm not here to debate them or have me attack them or any of that, just as I'm always happy to talk to people from Salesforce. You've got good products, but I have a tendency to make you my whipping boy. And it's not fair to you. So on behalf of my colleagues, I am extending the invitation. Anytime you want to come on the show, please do. And you will be welcome and treated well.
So going back to our original topic, so what's the value of a CDP to a business, not to the vendor of the CDP?
It's not only the CDP as a topic. What we had discussed with Achim was also that he was looking for an easier to handle, better connected system world without being in the hell of the best of breed. Because a lot of people love to get the best out of every area and link it together, and they have then a cocktail of solutions which might have some little problems, where Natalie's vote for one platform, and yours as well, Thomas, that a platform-driven approach where you have this properly integrated for the benefit of the customer is the easier approach. And from the preparation call I had with Achim and the cheat sheet, what I, with your help, prepared, guys, he was very much on the area that he was focusing on.
We can integrate applications as we like to. If there is no data, no good data, no good master data, then what result will we have?
Rien ne va plus.
Yeah, never pure, right. So there's this guy, I think his name was Ralph Korb, who always, if he doesn't talk about privacy, he talks about what was this return on data quality invest, right?
Yeah, I have heard of that chap.
Wasn't this Ralph?
And there was also one of his mentionings, such as, if you create data lakes, do not forget to clean them up before.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you have a so-called Güllegrube.
Yeah, so.
Shit lake is smelly and not a perfume. And yes, you're absolutely right, Tom. So it is the combination out of the basis to have fun is data, clean data, proper data, just data, appropriate data. And to make this to come to life and help you to make your customer's life easier because you know a bit more about him and his attitudes and his wishes, then we're on track. And partner relationship management is one of the magic points where a bit in the CRM arena, that stuff might got a bit neglected, such as how, for the benefit, what we on one end do as a best of breed approach, how do we combine, for instance, to the benefit of the customer, the most suitable partners to get the job done, to make the customer happy? It's what we yesterday had as a side discussion, what to do if there are products which are not yet integrated, but there would be a market to get them integrated, such for training, like we had the announcement, attention Natalie, of Trainer Central from Zoho. And her husband was mentioning that when he introduced Zoho One to the audience and did a cool show on some aspects I haven't seen on Zoho One before and in some of the parts. And that was for me to determine if a system can fit into an organization. It all boils down to user experience.
Well, right? no need to break.
Sorry, for me,
just because I bring this in. It's also a good comment, but still finalize your thought that we can go on with.
I believe that these pieces getting together is important, and this is from the usability of the system and the knowledge of the people. So if the people know really how they make it happen to your benefit, your organization's benefit, so that it delivers what it is promising and your people love to use it, this is the most important. You can have an ugly system which is really cool, and you have on the other side something which is shiny but doesn't work, yeah, and is not used. So honest, I prefer the ugly piece which is doing the job, and if I get this in shiny, and with the guidance, what we're talking about, the trends 2022, where sales is getting a helping hand from the others so that they can perform as cool as marketing and as cool as service, and the management people, which are report driven, fantastic.
Yeah.
Yes, and I honestly got a bit distracted by Natalie's comment.
Yeah.
I apologize.
Oh, no worries. So next time I
I
wait a
asked
little
her, by
longer.
the way, the link, if she wants to talk instead of write, she
Yeah.
just has to click.
Yeah. So I actually would disagree with what what Natalie says. Nicole said. I'm too much at home. Sorry. Explanation to Natalie: my wife is named Nicole, so important person in my life. So still, I'd agree to some extent. So user experience is one topic. It's an important topic. The other topic is, or other topics are, the system needs to be where I am, which you now may argue boils down to the experience. And the second is, it also needs to do what I need it to do. Now you can argue again, this is user experience, but to me it's not. So experience is another aspect of, well, the implementation. So first it needs to do what I need it to. And if it's then fast and efficient and fun to use, then these are additional layers or not. But first, it's about effectivity. Second, it's about efficiency. And then the occasional wow factor that may come on top of it. So like, it speaks with me. It does it the way I am doing it. So it would be interesting to see what first Marshall's and then Natalie's thoughts to that counter are.
Sure. When I see, can something fit into an organization, the question that comes into my head is, should it fit into an organization? And that is going to touch a lot onto user experience, and also whether the people implementing it really gave a thought to whether it belongs there in the first place. Very often, and I've experienced this in my working life and in my analyst and consulting life, which doesn't really count as work because I just tell other people what they should be doing. New systems get added on to do something that an already implemented system can do.
Mm-hmm.
Makes no sense to do that. I mean, it might be better, but if you're already getting 80 or 90% of the function out of something you already have, why would you pay to add something new onto it that is going to require implementation and customization and all of that? Does it belong there? There's a story from the 1980s that only some people are going to care about, but I'll bring it up anyway. The U.S. military was developing a new armored personnel carrier, an infantry fighting vehicle, the M2 Bradley. And the original design was very simple. Had some gun ports, had a little bit of armor, moved quickly. Then someone in the government who had nothing to do with fighting and everything to do with appropriation said, it looks like a tank. Let's put a gun on it. So they put a big gun on it, and that slowed it down. So they had to put a bigger engine on it. And well, if it's going to be a big engine, big gun, we got to put some armor on it. So now, bigger thing, change the chassis. Well, if we're putting all of these things on it, how about some missiles to defend it against air attack? And what was going to be a very simple vehicle became this huge $30 million and above boondoggle, as they call it. I call it a black hole where money goes to die.
A misfit.
Instead of having a vehicle that could ferry troops to and from combat and give them someplace to fight from, they had a vehicle that could do a little bit of everything, but none of it good.
Yeah.
Because they were figuring out what can we put on this vehicle and not what should we put on this vehicle. I'm sure there's someone out there who has real military experience who can explain that story better, but I think I've captured the essence of it.
I think...
Yes, Natalie, you should.
Natalie...
And very good for Zoho.
Reacting very well. Which is actually a good reaction for the vendor that she represents at that point in time when she goes in as a consultant. Yeah.
Absolute. And this is honest talk, as I had her husband for a pitch where they were going, or I was looking for a proper CRM solution for a robo-advisory. And at that time, her husband, René, simply said, we can do this, but we will have to put in a lot of effort. We can't do it out of the box.
Yeah.
And we will have highly accepted solution, but being honest, this is an approach where you have to convince your customer that he has to go with us as a first timer that road.
Mm-hmm.
And that was not what the ladies at that time wanted to do, unfortunately, because I found this a really cool opportunity. And what we have now with the tool stack 5 years later, what Zoho as a platform is delivering, and how the partners have developed, and how especially Natalie's team, her husband, and the rest of the people have developed in the last 10 years. It's a really dramatic, positive story. Yeah? I just recall the flyer I received, not only last year's goodie bag, which is still my favorite. There I got the cup I normally utilize. It was from, let's say, one of her make me happy approaches with some swag from Zoho. Other vendors do have that attitude, Natalie. Yeah.
I would change that statement a little, because it's not that they are pushing the vendors, they are pushing their services. And mostly, and this is different for smaller vendors, I know that, but mostly they do, or regularly, they do not get paid for selling the solution, but they make their living by implementing it. So I would like to protect the vendors a little there. It's not a problem of pushing the vendors, it's a problem of, or a challenge of pushing their own services. Still, it's not right.
And the other aspect is going on into that. It has something to do with the business ethics, such as if you know that you have non-income or only a very little one by simply selling the license, you make your money on the services and on customization and on doing extra jobs on the service bill. And this is the attitude you find with a lot of vendors. Unfortunately, this is a very strong hobby of the chaps in some areas from the blue cloud as well. And I'm getting quite nervous if I see that there is a real sexy out-of-the-box solution. And if you can afford it, you should go for it. I just listened several master classes of the friends from the blue cloud. And to be very clear and fair here, what they deliver in their service cloud approaches, either Einstein Voice or some in the field service approaches, they have a very strong learning curve. And I was honestly impressed, not only by their standard playbooks. Knowing me, I'm always getting mad if they show me only their playbook, but they were so cool in showing ad hoc adoptions, such as and reacting to the audience, which was very vivid, typing in, giving them hints what they would like to know. And they were very well prepared, and they had very attractive customers out of German-speaking Europe, for instance, not the typical international shit. Sorry for the word international. But it is the aspect that if you have a problem here, we would like to some of the stuff should have been more local. Yeah, local and global. That is exactly the strong point. While I honestly love those players coming internationally and adopt to the local culture and try to build their hubs in an appropriate way to deliver service with partners and themselves to the benefit in the near area where the customer has touch and feel. Yeah, this is if you build up an organization in a country and you have only one bridgehead, it's always tricky. Yeah.
Yeah, there's more to localization than just getting the language right.
Absolutely.
As our friend Jesus Hoyos
Yeah.
will tell you, anytime if you're trying to partner in South or Central America, there's an entirely different approach with smaller businesses, often family run, much more relationship driven than it would be, say, in the United States or probably in Western Europe. It's a whole different approach, and it's not just a question of speaking Spanish as opposed to speaking German, speaking English.
Absolutely. Yeah. And you could, I could make a quote out of my mind. In the old days, when I was with Update Marketing, an Austrian-based CRM vendor who had a very strong attack point against Siebel system, and my good old friends from Team Brendel as well. This is why I made a comment today, which was useless and not appropriate, but I enjoyed it very much. When somebody is quoting a Siebel background, I am quoting that wherever I could beat them, I beat them. And the interesting aspect is, it is exactly if you go with a Star Troopers ship and you only need a paddle boat, why not go for the paddle boat to the customer's benefit and not selling him the enterprise as being the only one solution? And on the aspect where I wanted to drive for is that it's always very important to see and understand what's really your customers need and pain, and to get the team aboard and align them with what we can deliver. Yeah. Yeah, people still buy from people. You are right, Natalie. Just don't be afraid to push that button with the link I sent you over LinkedIn. There I had your message board and could get access to you, such as if you look into your LinkedIn account, surprise, there is a link. Just push on and you are live in StreamYard.
If you want. Chat, yeah. But there she actually has a point. This goes together with pushing the right solution, vendor or vendor independent. You do not get the trust of making the first business if you are not able to tell your prospective customer at that point in time that what they want is actually not what they need, and that there is a better solution to address their problem. They nearly always have a real pain that they need to get solved. The problem is often with the way RFPs are set up, because often they always come with a solution in mind. So they are described with a solution in mind instead of just with use cases or user stories. this is what I want to achieve, the outcome. They often already say how they want to get this achieved. And with regards, well, often regularly. So the one where we reconnected back there in Munich was one of those cases. They basically described it in a way that only one solution on this planet would fit. And that one didn't even fit, but they bought it anyways.
There wasn't not request for proposal, it was a request for product.
This was a request for product, right? Disguised as a request for proposal. They obviously, for whatever reasons, needed to look at different solutions, probably to make, well, there was a selection consultancy involved as well, and they probably wanted their fees too, but anyways. So the problem, yeah, Ralph and I have been on different sides of the table there. So the problem, actually, coming back to that, is really that the questions of, well, the question to vendors and consultancies is not how can you solve my problem, but how can you propose me something that solves my problem like this. So, and you do not get trust if you are just say, okay, we do this exactly like that, and this costs you so much, but you need to garner the trust by also saying, hey, this is not really the way of doing it. Do it differently. And then if they really want to do it, Nicole's Natalie's I'm so bad. Natalie's reaction is totally right. So, well, then we are not the right ones for you. Qualify it out. Yeah.
I guess you have to be willing to walk away from.
What else does she say? People still buy from people. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. It's no business to consumer, no business to business, people to people. And if the people match is not the right one, then the product can be as shiny as you want. If you have an idiot as an implementing help who is not understanding your business, it will go like.
It hasn't to do with an idiot there. If they are just plainly answering what you asked, then they are not doing their real job. They are implementers then, and not consultants. Doesn't have to do with idiots, but
well, this is my perspective, and I call it then idiots because it's easy to understand. Everybody has a picture on his mind in the instant.
Luckily, we are not always of the same opinion, else we wouldn't have anything to talk about.
Yes, Mr. Lager.
Oh no, I was just making the picture of the idiot for you to point to.
Huh? Well, then let's have him say something.
Yeah, I think part of the trick here is that when you're trying to be a consultant to a company like that, how do you get around their mistrust of you? Because if they have something that they are pushing towards, that we want this product, we want to do it this way, and you know that there's a better way, yes, you want to be the consultative, helpful implementer salesperson, but there's always this picture in people's heads that they're trying to sell me something I don't want. They're trying to sell me something I don't need. And how it's shaking them out of that mindset that is so tricky. You've got to be able to not just tell them that there's a better way, but show them.
Yeah, right. And that's actually the way out. And it's about asking a bunch of questions before.
Yeah.
It's about asking a bunch of questions before. So starting with, what do you want to achieve? Which is often also not part of these documents.
No.
They want to achieve this process like that, these steps. What is the actual result, the outcome that you want to have? So this is the real start. And from then on, you are getting into finding other ways. And from then on...
Natalie! Ja! Halleluja!
From then on...
Hallo Natalie! Schön, dass du da bist.
That is the look of someone who did not plan to be on camera today.
Yeah, exactly. So I just jumped in. I was in a call before, so...
Well, all of us have this set up nowadays.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have the special guest today, by surprise, Natalie Söll from Solution. Solution. Very important you spell it correctly, because that's a new brand. And up front, you might tell us a bit about you and your team, so that the audience has a more clearer approach, such as, I know what I do.
Okay, thank you very much for introducing me. My name is Natalie. I'm, as you may hear, from Germany due to my accent. So we are a Soho Premium partner in Germany for about 10 years. And we basically, the resellers and base in Germany, we take care about more than 4,000 customers in the German-speaking area, as well as in, of course, European countries. We also have customers in US. And we help them implement the software, understand their processes and needs, and try to configure the software for their business use case. So this is basically what we do. We are a team of 20 people here in East Bavaria. So we got a lot of snow today.
Look out your window, see if Achim's being towed past.
Well,
yeah.
I got lots of rain, so I think you're better off.
Yeah, it's better to have the snow, right? So this is what we do, yeah.
For how long are you doing that?
For 10 years now. In May, it was the 10th year, yeah.
Yeah.
What was the reason for you to getting into this particular vendor?
The reason was basically I started off being self-employed with about 20 years. And I figured out I was doing lead acquisition for industry companies. And I found out that they don't have any kind of a CRM system. They all have this old legacy systems, which they use for production planning and orders and all that stuff, but they don't have a sales approach. And I delivered them leads, and it was quite successful. But however, no results out of those leads. And I frequently asked, what are you doing with these leads I provide to you? And then they say, yeah, you send us a nice spreadsheet, and yeah, we put them in our folder, but yeah, basically we don't do anything. And I'm like, yeah, but you need to follow up, because otherwise there will be no new business. So I realized there is no follow-up. So I thought about offering a CRM system as a basically part of it. And I many vendors, since my husband is in IT for a very long time, some quite experience with other tools already, since we worked in sales always. And then we found Soho because it was, to be honest, 10 years ago, it was not the Soho you know now. But it was a quite cheap solution. It was easy to understand, easy to customize, easy to handle. So that's why I applied for this and got. Yeah.
And it's very cool that you took the opportunity to jump in. Thanks for that. I appreciate, honestly. And it's a cool opportunity because we have what we can talk frankly about, a strong relationship to the Zoho team. And there is one we have in common. We honestly admire Sridhar's way and what his team has achieved. And we are very fond about it. And it is very remarkable to see, if one goes into the historical researchable stuff in the web, such as Zoho started in 2010 as a business partner of 1&1 from Montabaur.
Yes. I know.
And yeah, I guess that you know, and I know the guy who's doing the PR service, Michael Frenzel. And we were just chit-chatting on that Zoho is driving forward. And I said, there was a time when people started to utilize some of the Zoho solution together in conjunction with Google. Yeah. And it was one of the available, it was on the Salesforce Dreamforce 2007, when they did some announcements. And after I left from San Francisco, I said, wow, there is a company who is doing CRM in the base level for free, and it's cool. That will be something Mr. Benioff will watch out. They will get larger, stronger, and try to get something out of that big cake. Yeah.
Mhm.
And you said that Zoho 10 years ago was more basic.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Very much more basic. I mean, if you see like the app grow, the apps they added in the last 5 years, that's just, I mean, incredible. So,
Yeah.
I mean, it's even for us as a partner with 20 people, it's very, very tough to keep up with all those functionalities they get added on a weekly basis. So then you find out, oh, wow, all of a sudden there's a very new cool feature. And then you need to learn that, of course, because you need to announce it well. So it's quite an exciting journey, I would say.
Yeah. Actually, it would be a bad sign if they hadn't been more basic then than now. So, but I'd like to go a little back to the consulting angle. So you rightly said, if it doesn't fit, go away. Yeah. So in between, you probably do something else, like get the trust, convince that maybe, and that often in my consulting experience that happens often, that they actually don't want the right thing. How do you go ahead with that?
Yeah, basically what we always say, we always want to be very frank and very fair with the customer. So in the past, it happened that we have denied projects due to the complexity, and at the end, the CEO decided to come back and say, hey, you're the very first person who tells me my process is so complicated. Nobody in the world can implement this. So I'm choosing you to change it, to make it more simple. So this is what I think is very important, to be honest and tell the customer this feature or this thing is not available. So we can do something to develop something, of course, and we can add some more features. But at the end, be honest and frank, because otherwise it will fall down the floor. I definitely believe that. So our people are very, very good trained and being honest and not telling, oh, the nice sales guy tells you, oh, everything is possible just for like $5. You know all about this one. So yeah, this is our position.
In how far do you and your practice differentiate between salespeople and consultants or implementation people, delivery people? It's now out of curiosity, because I have a picture in mind.
A team which are trying to convince people, so they're pushing them in web demos, and then basically the person who does the demo needs to satisfy the customer. But I think, how do we differentiate? Of course, we always focus on the process of the customer, because I think this is one thing which is important. You cannot put everybody the same hat on, because this will not work for all industries. And this is what we try to make the difference out of it, and also to have some kind of a personal contact with the customer and the reassurance that we are there. I mean, we're only 20 people. It's not that big for a software company. However, we have in the backend the Zoho guys, which have more than 9,000 people. So, I mean, we have a good relationship. And if it's needed, I can call somebody and somebody will jump on a call immediately, even if I call in the middle of the night in India. So I think this is quite important.
And this is the trust one can build a business on. And because Natalie is too shy to talk about that they have exactly reconfigured their organization in a way you just described, Tom, is that renaming and rebranding what they had as a sales organization, Natalie Söll Vertriebs GmbH, and talking about Zoho Premium Partner, that they are not talking about solution. The solutions the Söll team is delivering, and that they have differentiation, such as they have people focused on integration, people on sales, people on the training, and people on, as they call it, we are the startup in the solution area, such as we try to help you to get the right leads. But elaborate a bit on this, because I'm the diplomat here playing the ball into the right direction here.
Diplomat? Since when? You are saying you're politically incorrect.
Who are
What's not
you? What have
diplomacy?
you done with Ralph?
Yeah, so the startup within the solution is basically taking care about building digital marketing funnels, so building up your lead journey. Since you all know this, right? You're browsing in social media, you got a nice ad, you click on it, and then basically you ask to leave your data, right? And there is a lot of software out there, and to be honest, it's always like streamlined that it's very easy to build such a funnel. But if you look into it quite right, then you would imagine that it is not so easy, because there are many things to think about. How do we address them? In Germany, we got the nice GDPR, which we have in the EU as well. So all those obligations we need to take care about. So this is basically a startup within the solution company, which takes care about new marketing platforms, how to present there, how to nurture and engage leads. So this is what we think is the future, because everybody is nowadays on social media, and we want to try to make for let's say, even for the bakery next to the door, a digital marketing funnel, because I think at the end everybody will need this soon or later. So this is the idea. So it's called Lift. It should lift up your business somehow.
Yeah, which is good. In how far is that also a kind of a community approach? Because the one single bakery, family business, probably not even a chain business, that is somewhere downtown in a smaller village or a not too big village, gets far more uplift if they are partnering with other businesses next door. So do you offer any thoughts there how they could collaborate?
Yeah, I think if you're talking about local businesses, it's important to build some kind of a network to grow a community, because I think it's more powerful if you collect like 10 bakeries instead of one bakery, which is making like 5 breads a day. So they're also not that capable. And also, I think it's not so easy if you think about if the marketing approach works out. The production will be not that easy if it grows like expected. So I think a community and network between those industries would be quite nice. So we see all these communities now growing, right? So you have the community in a specific city where a lot of industries come together. Then you have industry-specific communities. So I think this is the way it goes in the future, because you would need to collaborate together. It's not only competition anymore.
How about enabling the networking of different branches or different retailers? So take the bakery, the butchery, the cheese shop. Maybe one realizes that one needs some cutlery or some candles or whatever, so that they cross-pollinate each other.
Yeah, I think this is the way it will go. So what we see, I also joined in the past such networks. So you go there as a company owner, and your first thought is, I need to sell something. But sometimes it's quite a nice thing. So let's imagine a lawyer takes care, or a tax lawyer or somebody. So if you would need somebody, you know where to go to, because due to this community thing, you know each other, you trust each other. So I think it's a good experience. And I also think that companies can combine, even though they are in different industries, but there is cross-selling potential. So it's the same for software as with hardware, as with the butcher and the bakery store. So there are a lot of connecting points, because if you go to the butcher, you might need also bread. So
this is exactly
and
the
it's what
idea.
we do as well. We buy from our customers. So we have customers which are customers with us, and we utilize their services for ourselves. So I think it's a good hand-in-hand process.
And in how far does Lift, not solution, Lift support this? Don't want to put you on the spot here, but Just curious.
Yeah, I think so. Lyft does support partners. To be honest, it was a big step for us to release all those brands and do a big rebuilding. The strategy is clear. We want to build digital marketing funnels for every industry. We definitely open for collaboration with other companies because we know we are not the only people in the world who think about something like that. So yeah, we definitely open to partner with different companies and approach.
I wanted to emphasize on the point that that idea, what we just described, was the one we had the colleagues out of the city of Brühl with their app, the Hero app, where they created just a liaison, such as to inform people via the app, where they get, if they go for that product, that they could go for the neighbor shop, either to see their what is delivered or what they could shop over the counter at the door under Corona conditions, and that they got incentives such as if you would like to go for the men's shop and look for a new shirt, for a new suit, or for a bow tie, your wife can go and have a coffee at the reduced price in our bakery shop with some early to pick bistro services, or such as that the men's shop is liaising with the women's boutique and they have both a 25% discount if you shop either ways.
Yeah, that's a very nice idea, and I think this is something which will help to grow the economy in.
Now from the Lyft point of view, is this a consulting service or do you put a product behind it as well?
We want to put standardized products. Of course, this will not fit to all industries because every industry has its specifics. However, we want to give a basic funnel, right? Because there are many people out there, they don't even know how a funnel works. So a basic product. However, we also thinking about giving customized funnels, right, to customers. So both ways we are attracting, but at the very first point, we were just thinking about giving a general funnel and funnel ideas, right? As a standalone product already.
Going back to our starting topic, what's your definition of a CDP? Customer Data Platform, long text.
Yeah, what's our I mean, what's this for us? I mean, for us, it's of course a platform which provides as much as information we can gather from the potential customer or from the already existing customer. So this definitely includes all, for example, marketing data, service data, etc. So you should have a good overview. So this is my understanding of such a platform.
Okay, and how does it help?
Pardon?
How does it help?
How does it help? Yeah, of course, it helps to understand the customer in a better way, to understand his preferences, to understand where are his pain points, and how we can address him better in the future.
What are preconditions for implementing one?
Preconditions
it's like you're on trial right now.
Yeah, I see. I get a lot of questions, but don't worry, I can answer them all.
That's the spirit, Natalie. That's the spirit.
Yeah.
So
I mean, you're coming with a strong consulting angle, which is good.
You have to have a need, but even so you don't have a need, at a certain point you will realize that you have a need to have a customer database which is structured and which will remind you to do certain things with your customers. Because the funny thing is, sometimes you don't even know that the customer is also looking into this kind of services or products which you're providing, because you just simply don't know. And it must be predictive as well, I think. This is something which is also important. So we should also think about the AI and all the features which will come with this.
Is that a function of the CDP?
Within the CDP, yes. So there must be some kind of a anomaly detection, some kind of a prediction. So you should be easily warned or easily informed if something goes wrong or goes right.
Okay. Yeah, well, because prediction and is a fairly generic word, a term that might lead into a prediction of what to do next, which probably is not a function of a CDP. Don't know. So, but where does it end? Where should the CDP end?
Yeah, I think it's a connection of all systems. I don't think it's just a CDP anymore. I think we got that much of functionalities that this needs to be extended. So I think a CDP is in, let's say in 10 years, let's play a trick. It will be not only entering data, where's the customer located, etc. I think it will be more like a planning tool and a tool which helps us to manage our daily flood of information we get from thousands of channels. I mean, look into your LinkedIn, in your WhatsApp, in your email. So you have all those channels where you get flooded with information.
I think that is pretty much a very good closing statement. We say many thanks for you to come as a surprise guest. So Germans really should learn driving and not go drive their cars into a ditch, or stay at home. Many thanks. It was quite interesting insight that you provided as well. So on very short notice and unprepared before.
Yeah, I'm really unprepared. You see my messy hair and all that stuff. My Christmas light.
Well, the preparedness is not about the background.
Honest, it is like, this is a conversation, Natalie. You could state it, we talk with friends. It's not a dual party. And it is that we appreciate very much that what you say, what is the drive for your team for the last years and for the last decade, to be more precise, is that on trust and honesty built, you approach with success the audience, your potential customers, your existing customers, and that you create a strong relationship. And you just make exact that statement, such as, okay, I'm spontaneous enough and I jump in. Thanks very much. That is cool. And you have a message.
Thank you very much.
Also, thanks everyone who joined in on the other side of the channel.
And hopefully Achim is properly towed out of his area of danger, and everything is developing in a positive way.
Okay, good to hear. So going backstage now, thanks to everybody. See you next week when we are talking about the European Customer Experience Organization.
Bye, audience.
And with them. Bye.